don't you buy me a gift? I'm still single.
Give me your money.
Ooh, it's 50s, yeah.
Oh my God! This is amazing! Have you guys heard of this new drug cocktail called cheese? Like, that's seriously, that's the street name for it. That's what they call it, cheese. I'm not making it up. I saw like 4 or 5 news reports, and they were like, there's a new drug, it's called cheese. Kids in the Midwest are doing it. It's an epidemic. It's a new drug. It's an epidemic. It's a new drug. So I looked up what cheese is. Cheese is flu medicine and heroin. So really, it's heroin. It's mostly heroin. Heroin's doing the heavy lifting. That drug cocktail. Not a new drug, mostly heroin. I can't just like sprinkle some heroin on pancakes and go, I've created a new drug. I call it pan shakes. Don't forget the special shake sauce. It's just maple syrup and heroin. It's not a new drug, guys. It's mostly heroin. I think the last actual new drug was crystal meth, which you had to make in your bathtub. And if you messed up while you were making it, everything would explode, and you would die. That's how dangerous that drug is. Just trying to make it can kill you forever. And you make it just from stuff you get at the grocery store. To make cheese, you still need heroin. You already have heroin. It's very powerful. Who are the people that are like, you know what isn't really doing it for me anymore? All this heroin that I have. I wish I could make it stronger. Oh, I'm feeling the sniffles. I'm gonna take this medication. Oh my God! This is amazing! I will call this cheese.
So my name is Marina. It's not a great African name. Like my sister's got a great African name. Her name is Naila, which means one who succeeds. My name is Marina. It means a place where you dock boats. Thank you. I grew up in Chicago. That's where I grew up, the suburbs of Chicago. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. White suburbs of Chicago. Yeah, then we moved to the south side of Chicago, which is a black... I didn't see you there. The south side of Chicago, which was a black neighborhood. So basically, I went from being the only black child in an all-white neighborhood to being the only white child in an all-black neighborhood. That was tough, man. I remember growing up in the white neighborhood, like in school, like we would have theme days. Like one time we had 50s Day, which isn't really a good time for my people. But the white girls would come out with the poodle skirts all excited. They'd be like, woohoo, it's 50s, yeah. I didn't know what to do, so I just wore a sign that said, we shall overcome someday.
I try to teach them how to fight too, man, you know what I mean? And people tell me, what you teach them how to fight for? How about his ABCs? ABCs ain't gonna help him if somebody trying to take his money. Give me your money. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I teach him, man. I used to wrestle. You gotta learn how to wrestle too, man. That's what I used to do. I used to wrestle. I was good, you know. I could have won a high school championship. Those bastards threw me off the team after one match. Racism, that's what I say. But they gonna say I didn't know the difference between TV wrestling and real wrestling. All because I would show up to my matches with a cape and a mask on. I was a black scorpion, that was my name. Had my little cape swirling around the guy's head. But he caught me out there, though. The son of a bitch caught me out there. Got me in a fireman carry. Got me down. He's about to pin me, but I didn't panic. I'm a bad guy. I came prepared for that. Had a bag of salt in my tights, right? Threw it in his eyes. He gonna start to scream like a bitch. What the hell is wrong with you? I can't see. The crowd, they gonna start to boo me. But I like that. I'm a bad guy.
I have a roommate named Camel Toe, and she's getting married. I don't like people who get married and then make the entire year about them. You know, these people who do this. Is anybody engaged here getting married? Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck. I don't like these brides and they go and register for their own gifts. Who decided it was okay to pick out your own gifts? And then they act surprised when they get the gift and write you a thank you letter like, oh my God, thank you so much for the thoughtful gift. How did you know? It's like, bitch, you picked it out. That's how I knew. Okay, I typed in your name and a ceiling fan came up. What? I picked that out on my own. Why don't you buy me a gift? I'm still single. I don't know if you can register at a liquor store, but I would like to try. When I get married for the first time, I'm gonna register at Bank of America.